With social networking has become especially significant for sharing religious concepts and ideas. It has proved a way for ministries to communicate with church members and welcome more people to their services. Many ministries, religious nonprofits, house of worship, clergy, and small group ministries now routinely maintain pages on Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn, or other secular social networking sites, and many more religious groups and individuals have established presences on religion-oriented sites such as Christian Network and MuslimSocial.com. Evangelism.com is a Christian-based social networking site similar to MySpace, minus profanity and scandalous advertising. Shmooze.com? It's, for Jewish faith. Okay, my one. Reuben Boritz, an internet entrepreneur, founded it and got the idea for the site after helping to create an African-American focused website. There is also a site for Muslims to post their thoughts that non-Muslims might not understand. This is one of the great advantages of social networking. People of the similar beliefs are able to discuss their opinions with people who understand them.
Religion is thrown around on Facebook and MySpace so much that many aspects are just confused and made into jokes. Though your intentions may not be to offend anyone, telling and retelling these slanderous jokes can easily lead to high chances of offending someone of that religion. Social media can be a great place to have fun, but you can also have some of the worst arguments, which you would say things that you would never say to anyone face to face. There are generally two sides to an argument over an issue, and religion is certainly not an exception. A couple examples of religious debates are atheism versus Scientology, or a deeply conservative Christian. The argument is perfectly fine until a Christian resorts to using the Bible or some other book the atheist doesn't believe in, or the atheist is forced to fight his own reason to keep his point. Generally, somewhere in the middle of the argument, one side loses the original tone of a calm, cool, collected person and just turns into a raving idiot. If you can get someone to see your reasoning, then you have a chance of persuading them. If you lose your own reasoning, there's nothing for them to see. All these arguments can just as easily happen face to face, but when you see them in text, it's easy, or see them in text on screen, it's easy to see an element of what you're saying. Whenever you're having a disagreement with someone, you would generally not get too angry with them. In fact, you might just be joking with them. When you take away any kind of voice inflection or your tone, the jokes might sound like you're being serious, and an argument might sound like you're angry. Someone could easily mistake what you're trying to say and completely turn it around. Religion and social media also have negative side effects due to the fact that as soon as you say something about being a certain religion, many people begin to judge you. People say things like Christians are so judgmental, or Muslims are just like people with towels in their heads trying to blow stuff up. The majority of Christians know that they're not perfect and know that they don't know everything, and most Muslims are not suicide bombers. Using generalizations such as these are dangerous because at that point you might offend someone, or at the point you offend someone in such a deeply personal manner, it takes a very long time to gain their respect again.
Day in and day out, we are exposed to various forms of music and the messages these compositions contain. Often these messages are of a religious nature and we're not even aware of it. Bands such as The Fray and U2 have been known to have religious undertones to their music, as well as some songs that resonate with messages of faith. Whether overt or more subtle, these messages can be profoundly moving. The Fray started in Denver as a Christian contemporary band and gained notice by playing at local churches. Their first two albums were quite popular in the local and national Christian music scene, but it was just the beginning. Both privately and professionally, their Christian roots can still easily be seen. Over time, the band came to the realization that the best way to sell albums was via the secular music industry. And this was figured out during a trip to a local Starbucks by the lead singer. When he realized that songs could be written and sung to a worldly audience, but still within the context of his faith. The band was discovered and signed to Epic Records in 2004 after playing at a local bar venue. And their first release in 2005 was How to Save a Life. In their second album, the song that's probably the most recognizable is You Found Me. You can see some of the lyrics on here. There's a touch of heartbreak and a question as to where God has been and why help hasn't been there in a difficult time. The song wraps up with the words, lost and insecure, you found me, lying on the floor, where were you, where were you, why'd you have to wait, where were you, where were you, just a little late, you found me, you found me. Without being overly obvious, the band has managed to place a very common faith battle into the secular stream. Much earlier than the Fray, another band was making waves in the secular stream. This band originated in Ireland in 1976 as Feedback, then changed their name to The Hype, and finally U2, which is still growing strong today. Maybe their lyrics are more commonly accepted as having a strong social message rather than a message of faith, but there's no denying that the album October was very openly Christian. While albums like War took a little different approach, later works such as The Joshua Tree made the band's roots very clear. Lyrics such as, I have spoken with the tongue of angels, I have held the hand of the devil, it was warm in the night, I was cold as a stone, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I believe in kingdom come, then all the colors will bleed into one. Yes, I'm still running. This quote, these lyrics, show some question in faith, but they also show belief. It's a clear example of how bands with roots in Christianity can break into the secular world and give the population something to think about. There are also musicians that are, I can't read anymore, wow, where'd it go? That are overt in their religious messages, but are surrounded by misconceptions due to their extremely flashy nature. Marilyn Manson, in this case, this is Lady Gaga. Marilyn Manson is certainly one of the musicians who's over the top and to aid the general populace in drawing inaccurate conclusions to his chosen faith, which is Satanism. Manson's been known to tear a Bible apart while on stage and throw the pieces to his fans in the crowd, and that behavior can easily be construed as Manson being completely opposed to everything Christian. Surprising to many, this is rather untrue. In a television interview, Manson stated there's a lot of valuable lessons to be learned from the Bible. Quote, I just feel that the way a lot of people interpret it, particularly in the USA, is very hypocritical, and that's what they're trying to open people's minds to. That there is different ways of looking at things rather than what we've been told over the past several hundred years. Followers of the Church of Satan, founded in 1966 by Anton LaVey, thank you, and whose beliefs Manson incorporates, do not even view Satan as an entity. He's more of a representation of man's more primal and animalistic nature. Sorry, I hadn't looked through and knew it was animated. A small sect of Satanism called Theological Satanists worship the Christian horned devil that we all recognize in paintings. The majority of Satanists view him as part of every individual that is too often denied rather than embraced. It doesn't want to play.
Okay, so I covered the role of the negative side that books have on portrayal of religion. And so one of these is the Da Vinci Code. Now, although intended as a work of fiction, there's a page at the beginning that says, all descriptions of artwork, architecture, documents, and secret rituals in this novel are accurate. This is definitely not the case. And this is really aimed at not only the Catholic Church, but also historians and scientists for the misaccurate representations that they contain therein, such as trying to find stuff in like Da Vinci's paintings, for instance. Okay, so here we go. Here's another. So when we had the Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown explicitly knew what he was doing, but he didn't really do it explicitly to anger people. Meanwhile, there's this book called The Golden Compass, and this is under the guise of a children's book. However, it's really not the case. If you continue on with the series, you learn these basic beliefs that there is no God, and that pretty much the church and all the religions are evil. So if you watch the movie, at the bottom is the example of the bad people, the magisterium, which can be seen as like the Christian church. Okay, and then here we go to Harry Potter. And this book, I do not believe, this book is one of the most banned books around the world. Because, people think to look at that, my goodness, isn't he scary? So, this is encouraging that witchcraft is fun, or you want to get involved with the cult or Satanism. But I don't believe this is really the case, because Philip Pullman, the author of The Golden Compass, wrote those books explicitly saying, I hate the church, I hate religion, I hate all of that. Meanwhile, Harry Potter contains beliefs that are really can coincide with religious morals, such as that good will overcome evil, and to always try to choose the good.
I covered the positive side of books, and I focused more on the King James Version when King James first commissioned it to be put into print. Commissioned by King James Version of England, first published in 1611, the King James Version Bible became known as the People's Bible. 4 centuries later, the King James Version Bible continues to inspire people worldwide and is the most influential book ever published. The history of this book, if you have read it or if you haven't, has had an influence on your life. Its images, languages, and influence has been felt around the world for the last 400 years. The living Word of God. The English produced a work that was so powerful, so influential, often encompassing that the entire world will never be the same. A quote from George Bernard Shaw, they carried out their work with balance, reverence, and care, and achieved a beautifully artistic result. They made a translation so magnificent that to this day the common human, British or citizen of the United States, accepts and worships it as a single book by a single author, the book being the book of books and the author being God. For many of us, our family Bible is the King James Version Bible, a lovingly worn volume passed down through the generations, entrusted with precious documents of family birth, marriages, and death, whose margins are filled with wisdom and highlighted from our parents and grandparents. The King James Version Bible remains one of the top-selling translations in the world, more than 400 years old and going strong.
Religion has been entertainment for as long as we can remember. Today, all you have to really do is turn on television, go to a movie, pick up a book. There's been hundreds of movies made with religious themes and have religiously been based on facts, some of them, not all. Even though most of these religious films, books, and plays have been made with human opinion, the important thing is that they make people think, either one way or the other. Dramas or plays are another way our religion has been brought into the light, so to speak. Jesus Christ Superstar is one of those dramas where you essentially say the title and people know what you're talking about. Now, unfortunately, not all people take religion-based plays seriously. Columnist Charles Isherwood wrote, I have to confess to finding the show alternatively hilarious and preposterous, if often infectiously melodic during the 2 hours busy traffic of Mr. Mackinoff's brisk and lucid staging. And Mr. Charles Isherwood wrote this in March of this year, as Jesus Christ Superstar was playing in the Neil Simon Theater in New York. Now, while some of the bigger plays about religion may be taken as entertainment only, there are others that will make you think, The Thorn being one of them. A drama put on by New Life Church every Easter is not solely for entertainment, but also a way to deliver a special message. Pastor Sean Mathis of Providence Presbyterian Church wrote that he would not attend this drama and cited scriptures in the Bible for support of the reasons he felt this way. And I didn't include them in it because there's too many to list, but he had quite a few. Now, as passionate as Pastor Mathis felt, there were others who were equally passionate about attending the play. The Thorn has grown so much in popularity that it moved from New Life Church to the World Arena in Colorado Springs this year. That gives you an idea how many people are actually following it. The production has even traveled to Houston for a special 2-day engagement prior to the engagement here in Colorado Springs. However many people feel about The Thorn, it's continuing to grow and more people are going to see it, which may cause a seed to be planted and will bring forth hopefully further love and admiration for religion and people who actually feel religious. I believe it's a positive thing, but that's just my opinion. Plays can help people to teach lessons and help preach. Great news, passion.
It would be sweet.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's alright. Okay, religion is affected by plays due to their very nature. The main goal of a play is to get a point across. So, religion, that's a good way to get the point across, whatever religion is being played out. Plays can help teach lessons, help preach. Some may say that this is a dramatic attempt at teaching the message of Christ. One play that portrays a significant event in the last day of Jesus' Messiah was the new Great Passion play written by playwrights Joe Smith and Rick Mann. Another one was The Living World. This play talks about hearing his words at the Sermon of the Mount, Palm Sunday, and the Last Supper. It also explains the experience of his pains, arrest, and trap. Witness his triumph, resurrection, and assassination. Religion is widespread and very popular throughout the years, and since mass media came into effect, it has caused religion to become widespread and prevailing also. Religion is going to be in the media no matter what, and if it's doing good deeds, why should we ban it, Why should it be looked down upon? Because if it's being able to teach children not to break rules or teaching them about religion, then, that means that parents won't have to, or they don't have to go to church. Either way, religion is a great way for people to cope with life. Religious plays help with getting the message across to the reader effectively.
The Exorcist is a horror movie originally from 1973. It was a film about the demonic possession of a young girl. The film follows the attempt of two priests to try to exorcise the demon, and the demon that is much more powerful than they are. The presence of religion is shown through the priest characters, and it also explains what how the Catholic Church deals with demonic forces and believes that there are demonic forces to be dealt with. I believe that the way that religion is portrayed in The Exorcist is, and in many other horror movies, is a negative portrayal of religion and how a negative view of how people think of religion. A television show that portrayed religion would be Eli Stone. This was a television show that ran from 2008 to 2009. And the show followed Eli as he came to terms with the fact that he was the chosen modern-day prophet. He began to have visions. As a lawyer, he worked with the big companies and stole from the little people. But as he came to have vision, his future faces were much more in the will of God. Religion is seen through this television show in a positive light because of how God plays a very positive, life-changing role in Eli's life and the people around him. It also follows many values of those of the Christian faith such as to help those who are in need and support others as loved ones.
She covered some positive and negative. Mine is mostly the negative impact that TV has on the portrayal of religion. Religion is a part of our history, our world, and our everyday life. We can especially see those influences in TV shows. I did mine on 3: Big Love, Charmed, and GCB. I almost got mixed up. Big Love, which you can see here, is an HBO portrayal of a fictional fundamentalist Mormon or Latter-day Saint family. The first thing that is a little sketchy is how they portray the family as a Mormon polygamous family, when polygamy was actually banned in the LDS community in 1890. Big Love features a husband and 3 wives, and they portray characters from actual real-life polygamous groups. When the show first started, the LDS Church confronted the HBO directors about the show because of its religious inaccuracies. The LDS Church wanted them to realize that this was not how the LDS Church actually worked and that polygamy had been outlawed for a very long time. In March 2006, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints issued a public statement citing the concerns over the program's depiction of abuse, polygamy, use of stereotypes, and television's depiction of moral and civic values in general. The church stated, despite its popularity with some, much of today's television entertainment shows an unhealthy preoccupation with sex, coarse humor, and foul language. Big Love, like so many other television programming, is essentially lazy and indulgent entertainment that does nothing for our society and will never nourish a great mind. There are many preconceived notions about the LDS Church because of TV shows and movies like this that do not always portray their religion accurately. Unfortunately, this is what the public sees and then makes a opinion from. The next one is Charmed, yes. I did the opposite way on the side stuff. Okay, it's Charmed. And Charmed is supposed to portray Wicca, which is a form of paganism. These sisters have powers and are not supposed to use them for personal gain, which is very similar to the Wicca adherence to the, how do I pronounce that? Breed, okay, which is the harm none, do as you will. But throughout the series, the sisters more often than not do spells or make choices that give them personal gain and have bad consequences for the victims or the people that they're actually trying to help throughout the TV shows. Manipulative spells are looked down upon in Wicca because you are manipulating the person and how they think. In Wicca, they don't necessarily believe in Satan, but the evil of thoughts, actions, etc. We believe that each and every human being is completely responsible for his or her own actions. To us, evil is a choice of a bad one. That a human might take, not an embodied entity to blame their actions upon. The term warlock actually is used to describe a male witch that they use in TV shows. A warlock is actually a slur meaning traitor. So why would TV use that if male witches are not warlocks and not rudimentally evil as the show portrays them? The show is also very confusing in that it makes being a witch really cool and something that every teenage girl wants to be as growing up. Who wouldn't want to, be able to throw things or freeze things with their mind? Wicca or paganism does not believe in Satan, so they cannot be Satan worshippers. Most witches do not believe in demons, so it's kind of interesting that, they have demons portrayed throughout the TV show as being bad. This show is the media's way of glamorizing the wrong things, betraying these religions incorrectly for their personal gain. And the last one is GCB. which is which is a new show and in DC portraying Christian women, kind of like Desperate Housewives. So, in GCD you have 4 women along with the old Queen Bee and the new Queen Bee. Many believe that the show doesn't make fun or degrade women and Christianity. The show has the new Queen Bee try to insult, mock, and get rid of the old Queen Bee who has come back into town. This show does not reflect a good Christian woman or how a good Christian woman should act or do things, instead showing how cruel a woman can actually be. The show does nothing but portray the bad side of people, their ambitions, cruelness to people who don't fit in. This show portrays religion in a horrible manner by not using the good things people do or how people can be nice and forgiving, but instead focusing on being cruel, taking on people because of how they look or what they have. One of the biggest things in Christianity is forgive thy neighbor and love thy neighbor as you would yourself. The one woman continuously gets plastic surgery and it seems like they love the big fabulous life. Like I mentioned earlier, wealth, fortune, and ambition are all good things with small qualities, but it's problematic when these things take priority over someone's life. Another big thing is they don't show forgiveness. They hold grudges against the other women and show hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. I was like, I can't remember the word. If these are the shows that our generation watch, no wonder they have such a negative review on religion.
I did religion and sports go together because mainly Christian athletes set better examples and are better role models for people growing up watching sports. Looking at the sports section, people can find accomplishments of sports superstars. Some of these accomplishments mirror the crimes committed in society, but there are also stories about other sports figures who can serve as role models for the rest of the public. More often than not, these role models have very strong religious beliefs and their actions can be traced to verses from the Bible. Tim Tebow, his actions on and off the field make him a great example to follow. Tebow showed his teammates and the entire country what is possible with hard work and determination. Furthermore, Tebow attracted numerous followers simply for his refusal to take any credit for himself. Tebow loudly raised his voice to God and thanked him publicly for the outcome of each game despite whether his team won or lost. Religious athletes also have a greater impact on the community by helping charities and numerous foundations for supporting the town at which their professional team is located. Regardless of the way they help, these players are simply following verses from the book of Hebrews and live mainly to tell people about God instead of playing their own sports.
Although many religious followers receive gratification with the implementing of religion in sports, others deem it as a way to attract attention. How far is too far when implementing sports into religion? Is it when professional league owners seek religion as a profitable money proponent, or is it when players praise God in order to attract a larger fan base? Fight for screen time is a constant battle now in professional leagues. So what better way to steal the screen time than to interrupt a play just to praise God? That's going to better your perception for the whole fans, which then in turn is going to attract a larger fan base. Since the beginning of the sports era, players have found a way to constitute religious acts on the field. As mentioned earlier, Tebow will thank God before and after games, every play. Thanks, praise, and worship should be the intended reasons for prayer. The year was 1915, and one of the most notorious Major League Baseball players, known as Babe Ruth, hit his first home run. Soon following, he kisses his hand and points to the heavens. That was one of the first known being seen as thanking God in the sports field. Advancing to modern day time, this is still used as a means of T-boning. The only time coaches and players want to bring God into the picture is when something seemingly good happens. The winning side is always seen thanking God in their halftime speeches, end of the game speeches, but you never see the losing side. Players want to be seen commending God in order to enhance their perception of the fans. Professional league owners are like businessmen, and as any other businessman, the centralized goal at hand is money.